Hello. This is another autism video, and I'm going to take you on the same little imagination trip that I took you on when we did the theater analogy for socialization. Only this time, I'm going to take you through a meltdown. Alright? So I've got some notes written down here. So I want you to close your eyes, just like last time. I mean, I close them. I have to keep mine open because I've got notes here to read so that I can keep my numbers straight, because I have trouble with numbers sometimes. So here's the scenario. You're going to go to a wedding that starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you've planned your morning accordingly. You want to be up by 7 a.m. and out the door by 8 a.m. And then you'll get there about 5 minutes before the wedding starts if everything goes according to plan. But it's not going to. You set your alarm and you go to bed. You have all your clothes set out, all your accessories, whether it's your jewelry or your cufflinks and your tie, your shoes, your socks, your stockings, your hose, your pantyhose. Not that kind of hose, but pantyhose. And whatever outfit you're going to wear, you have everything laid out and ready to go. And all you have to do is just get up and put it on and do your hair, do your makeup if you're a woman, or do your shaving and all that stuff if you're a man. And of course you've got the cat food set out so you can feed the cat in the morning. And you have the litter box all set up so that you can just scoop it when you get up and not have to fuss with it too much. So you go to bed, confident that the next morning is going to be fine. But it's not. For whatever reason, your alarm doesn't go off. Maybe if you're using your cell phone, maybe somebody called you at just the wrong moment and it made your alarm not come on, so your phone doesn't alert you. Or maybe the power went out for a moment during the night and all your clocks went to that blinking 12 thing that's really annoying. So you wake up at 8 o'clock, which is the time you wanted to be out the door. You don't even have a moment to be groggy. You just fly out of bed. It's like the beginning of the Home Alone movie, where the transport arrives and everybody is freaking out, panicking, getting ready. So you just rush to put your clothes on and do your hair and brush your teeth. You don't have time to eat. So you manage to get yourself ready in about 15 minutes. That's a record for you. If you're a woman, 15 minutes, that's a record. And if you're a guy, maybe you do it in 5. Maybe 10. It depends. So you rush out into the kitchen and you go to feed the cat and you discover the cat has puked all over the living room floor. Everywhere. As in, there's no way you can not step on it and just leave it there. So you have to clean all of that up. And that eats up time that you don't have. So you're getting more and more frantic. You're panicking. You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out the door. I've gotta get out the door. And you go to scoop out the litter box. And maybe you go to take the litter out to the main trash can, but the bag breaks on the way. So now you got that mess. And you're just like, damn it, and you just throw the trash bag down and you just leave it there and rush into the house. You have to make sure all the doors and windows are locked and that everything that needs to be unplugged is unplugged, because you don't want a fire, right? So you have to spend minutes you don't have to do that, and then you get out to your car, and right when you sit down you realize you forgot the wedding gift. So of course you say words that will be bleeped on public broadcast television, and you unlock your house and you go back in, you get the gift, you get the card, you get back in your car, you gotta go lock your door again because you forgot to do that. Now your hands are shaking. Of course, the more you have to hurry, the more you mess up, and you just know that. You can't help it. But by the time you're pulling out of the driveway, your stomach is a knot. It is just tight. Your abdominal muscles are just pushing inward. They're so tight. And you have to really work to like inhale and get your diaphragm to go down to breathe. You just have to work. You're not having trouble breathing. It's just, it takes work to do it. It's going to take you some time to get to the church, but you know some shortcuts. You know some side streets, and you know a freeway you can go on. So you go to the side streets, and you have to stop at an intersection. There's a train. So you're sitting there just tapping on your steering wheel, and you're tapping your feet, and you're wiggling in your seat, because you're getting angry and angry. So angry, you almost can't see. You're so angry. And you're scared and you're panicking too, because you know it's going to look bad if you're late to this wedding, right? So all you're thinking is, I need to get to the wedding, I need to get to the wedding, I need to get to the wedding. The thought is just running through your head to the rhythm of the train going over the tracks. So finally the train is gone. You get through the light, you go ahead, you make it through the freeway. You get to the driveway where you gotta go in to get to the church. And right as you turn, someone taps your bumper as they're going by. Someone's car just plip, gets your bumper. Nobody's hurt, but your goal is in sight, and now you're just stopped short by this stupid thing. The anger in you reaches a point where you cannot hold it in. You cannot control it. So you explode. You slam your hands down in your lap. You slam them into the steering wheel. You slam them into the seat. You hit the window. And you are yelling. You are cussing. You are screaming. There's tears pouring down your face. You're sweating. Your skin is prickling with the feeling of the sweat coming out of the pores. Your skin just prickles and itches and hurts. Your calves are so tight that it hurts. Your biceps hurt. Your knuckles and your fingers hurt from gripping the steering wheel so hard for so long. And now your throat is getting raw from the screaming. But it feels so good to let that rage come out of you however it wants to come out. But as it comes out, there's a corner of your mind that is conscious that people can see you and they might be able to hear you. And it becomes more evident when somebody starts pounding on your window and it's the car that tapped yours. Of course they want to do the insurance and all that stuff. You know, that's just the courtesy thing to do. But you can't handle it. So you cover your face and you're just crying. Doesn't matter what your gender is, you're crying. You can't deal with this anymore. You're done. So you don't even go to the wedding. You exchange the insurance info in a fog, and you drop off the gift, and you leave. And there's a feeling of numb defeat. You're so tired you almost can't hold your head up. You're sad because you really wanted to be at your friend's wedding, but this last stupid little thing happened and you just couldn't deal with it. You couldn't do it. And you feel like a bit of a failure, even though you're not. It was just a stupid thing that happened. Things happen. Cars tap each other sometimes, and accidents happen. You send your friend an email apologizing for not being there, and you explain that, you know, you were in a minor car accident and you were so shook up that you just couldn't be at the wedding. And you feel bad as you go home. And you go into your house and you just kind of lay down on your bed and you stare at the ceiling in this fog of numbness. You don't want to do anything for a while. You just want to lay there because you've expended so much energy. And you're tired. And you don't sleep, you just stare at the ceiling with unfocused eyes. And after a while you start to feel okay, and you get up and you make yourself a sandwich, and you realize you're still wearing the outfit you planned to wear to the wedding. So you change clothes, and you decide to just go sit out in your backyard and just look at the flowers and hope that tomorrow will be better. Now open your eyes. That's what it's like to have a meltdown, and they're not fun. Parents, I strongly urge you, if you have an autistic child, never punish them when they're having a meltdown, because I can guarantee you they don't want to be having that meltdown. They're not trying to do it on purpose to get out of things. They're not doing it on purpose to be difficult. It's just something that happens to autistic people. And sometimes we do something called a shutdown, where we don't want to respond, and we get very slow, and it's like existing in molasses almost. You know, a shutdown is kind of like a meltdown, but it's more of an implosion instead of an explosion. So it's the same amount of rage, but it just shuts us down. And it's like we can't do or deal with anything. That's how I treat a shutdown anyway. It's imploding instead of exploding. But children that are having a meltdown and adults that are having a meltdown, nobody wants to be having that meltdown when they're having it. Trust me. They're not fun, they're exhausting, and they can wreck an entire day. They really can. And if you punish a child that's having a meltdown, all it's going to teach them is that they're always going to be getting in trouble for this thing they can't help. And I know, because I had one of my parents would do that to me. And all it did was teach me to be ashamed of the fact that I have these meltdowns that I can't control. And nobody should be ashamed of the fact that they're autistic. Because even though it does have some downsides, it has so many upsides. But I wanted to teach you what a downside is like, so that you can be a bit more compassionate. Because it's not fair to punish someone for something that they can't control. That's like me punishing you because you have blue eyes instead of brown. Or me punishing you because you have blonde hair instead of brown hair. I mean, that's not something you can help. I mean, you can dye your hair and put contacts in, but underneath it you still have the one eye color and that one hair color. You know, you can make it look different, but you're still underneath it. The real thing is still there. And you're still always going to have to get your roots done. And you're always going to have to put those contacts in. And you're always going to have to be something you're not. And you shouldn't have to. But that's what ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis Therapy, does. It basically teaches kids on the autism spectrum that their natural behavior is wrong. It teaches them to look like they're not autistic, but they're still autistic. It's abusive. If you did ABA to an adult with Alzheimer's, it would be considered abuse. So why is it okay to do it to kids? Why is it okay to do it to children with autism? It's not. It shouldn't be. But anyway, meltdowns. They're just part of what it is to be autistic. And they're going to happen. It's taken me 34 years to really understand the signs that I'm going to have one. And I can recognize when I'm getting overstimulated now. But I couldn't when I was a teenager. It took me until I was about, about 25 before I really started to stop and say, you know what? I'm getting cranky and I have no reason to be cranky. Huh. And I realized that if I took a break and calmed down, I would not explode into the rages that I would explode into. And those rages were meltdowns, not temper tantrums. But I hope this has been educational, and I hope this helps someone out there understand what it's like to have a meltdown. I hope that comparing it to something that neurotypical people can relate to makes it easier to understand why meltdowns are so hard on the person that's having them. And as uncomfortable as it is to see it, it's nothing like experiencing it. And the best thing you can do for someone that's having a meltdown is just leave them be. Don't try to talk to them. Don't demand they stop. Just, if they're in a situation where they might be in danger, like they might fall down some stairs or something, then yes, then maybe just kind of usher them somewhere else. But if you go to pull on their arm and they sit down like a little kid does, just let them sit there and let them have it out. Just let them get through it first. And whatever you do, don't get in their face and yell. Because during a meltdown, at least for me, my sense of hearing is very distorted, and it's likely to just scare me. And my fight or flight is already in action. That means adrenaline is pumping. And so my reaction might be to get away. And sometimes if I have to get away, I will go through whatever's in my way. Which means I might push people out of my way. And I don't want to accidentally hurt somebody, because I will not be in my right mind. I can think enough to know this is wrong, but I can't stop myself. And I don't want to like push somebody down some stairs or something, but I could. That doesn't mean I'm going to be dangerous or something, because usually I know when I'm going to have one. But if I'm already having one, my behavior changes, and it's just, I'm not Cindy when I'm having a meltdown. So, like I said, I hope this helps teach somebody something. And if you have questions, it's alright to ask. I'll do my best to answer. In fact, I encourage questions, because the more you know, the more you understand, the less scary it is. Because people are afraid of what they don't understand. So don't be afraid of me. Ask. Alright? Meltdowns aren't the end of the world. They just suck.